threats to use nuclear weapons in Ukraine?
The president warning the risk of nuclear Armageddon has not been this high since the Cuban Missile Crisis.
The war is on the brink of Armageddon.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Your mission is to be the calm in the storm, be the lighthouse in the darkness. You're watching a movie, and in the end, God wins.
We're on a mission from God.
FBI! FBI! Open up!
Be brave, shine the light.
Well, hello, Patriots, and welcome to the end game. And it is Capt Kyle here, and our lovely Kelly that's hiding behind a avatar, which is all good. And she's not feeling good today, so I understand it's all good. One day we're going to get her in front of the camera, and she's going to have to be there, and so it's all going to be there sooner or later. And
oh yeah,
well. I just want to tell everybody, over the weekend, sorry I wasn't able to do the show with Lieutenant Colonel Bossy or with Robert over the weekend. Work, it is what it is, and I just, I can't change that. And so I just want to apologize. So we decided we were going to come on and do a show today that had absolutely nothing to do with either one of those shows. But I think it's on everybody's mind exactly the topics that we're going to talk about today. And before we talk about that, we're going to pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for just allowing us to come into your presence and to just follow those things in which you have for us each and every day. Lord, we just thank you for them. We show you gratitude in all that we do. And Father, just allow those things in which we do each and every day bring honor to you and to show glory into the things in which you do in all of our lives. Father, I just thank you for those things. Lord, as I was this morning, I was continually showing you just gratitude for my life and the things that are going on in my life. And Father, I just thank you for it. And I just thank the people for all the things that they're going through, and that it's not failures, and it's the difficulties are those things in which are taking you to a place of purpose. And so they're not failures, they're successes. And it's those things in which you're going through are leading you to a specific place and a destiny that is going to be birthed from those things in which you do. And Father, I just thank you for it. I thank you that you're in control of all things, and that if we just continually just relinquish that control each and every day and know that the things that are happening around us, good, bad, or indifferent, it's you and its purpose in it, and to be happy and to be joyful in those trials in which we're in, or in the joy that we are in, and just call it all peace because it's of you. And in that, we don't have to worry about tomorrow. We don't have to worry about an hour from now. We just live in the right this minute because that's all that's real. And Father, I thank you for it. Lord, I ask for a hedge of protection around me and Kelly and all the admins here on the channel. And Father, I just ask for a hedge of protection around our leaders and all of our military that's doing those work that you've got set for them so that they can accomplish your will and that your goals are to set us all free. And Father, I thank you for it. And I praise you. And Lord, I just ask that you continually give us discernment, allow our hearts to resonate with those things that are true and to not resonate with the things that are untrue, and just to set them down and walk away from them. Father, I thank you for it and I praise you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
So, first thing, Kelly, how are you doing? I'm glad to see you, even though I'm not seeing you, but I'm hearing you.
Yes, I'm glad to see y'all as well. Just under the weather and trying to get through this, what seems like a brick wall.
Yeah, it is. And it's funny because I've been going through ups and downs emotionally, physically, and it's just a battle that we're all facing right now. It's all individual, but it is collective, and it's something you can't really put your finger on. I'm not sleeping. I'm tossing and turning, and I don't feel like I'm getting rest. And it's been it's a journey. It really is. And it has purpose because it's all of the energies that need to be cleared are having to be cleared, because we're going through this house cleaning, and it's not just on the earth, but it's also in our bodies and our spirits and everything around us. And so as that clearing goes through, it's physically, it's emotional. It's like 1 minute I'm fine, next minute I'm like just wanting to freaking cry my eyeballs out for no reason. And it's okay. Just sit in it. Don't judge it. Just allow it to happen and then let it go, and know that it has purpose and that you are setting something free that needs to be dealt with. It may not even have anything to do with you, but could be the people that are around you, could be the circumstances that you're in, or it could be so many things, but it needs to be released back into the Creator. And these energies cannot go with us, and they have to be dealt with. We can't take the baggage with us. And so it's kind of the birthing pains that we're having to go through with the earth and with ourselves, on our bodies changing, our spirits are changing, everything in us is changing right now, and it's a battle. And so just stay in that mindset of knowing what is going on and that it is okay, and that just press on. And if you need to like put on some praise and worship music and really just praise or meditate, be at peace, whatever you can do to find your happy spot, then do it. And the last couple nights, I wasn't able to sleep. I was tossing and turning. I actually had to get up, had to go outside, had to sit in peace for about an hour and a half outside in the garage door open, just so that I could relax and have a sense of peace and calm. It's like I'm having this, the feelings of where I'm anxious and I just all these emotions that I just don't normally ever feel. It's not that I haven't ever, but I've dealt with them in the past, and it's like I know not to be in that situation, but it's coming on me without having anything to do with me. And it's like every day my wife is like, so you're doing better today? How are you doing today? She's asking me, it's like, do you need to be just by yourself or what? So she kind of knows the limitations on where I'm at each and every day, which is very abnormal for me right now. And well, I'd say more normal now than abnormal overall. And I believe all of us are going through some forms of this, and it is absolutely normal. So don't beat yourself up about it, and don't, think that it's, you've done something wrong or you're not doing it right, or absolutely none of the above. So self-doubt and all that kind of stuff is just throw that shit right out the window, because it has absolutely nothing to do with anything that's going on. My wife is even telling me that she's gone through a lot of these same things, these same feelings, and she didn't know what to even say to me about it. She was just self-isolating without having to talk to me about it until I brought it to her attention. I don't know, about a week or so ago. And she was like, yeah, I was feeling that, but I didn't know what to say. And so I understand. And so if you're feeling these things or you're feeling that way, it is 100% okay. You're not doing anything wrong. Don't beat yourself up, and just allow it to happen, because it will pass and you will move forward, and we're all going to move forward. And this is a part of the house cleaning that needs to happen so that the new can come in, because that got to go take the old out so you can put the new in. You can't put the new in and then take the old out. It doesn't work that way. And so this process we're having to go through right now. And so just know that God is in control of it and that it is okay. So don't sweat it. So with that, a lot of that's what's going on with you, Kelly, with a lot of other people. And, just kind of do whatever you need to do to battle through.
It is a battle, Kyle. It's
It is.
especially here of late, because it feels like, no matter what project I even start trying to do or what I try to do, something happens to prevent me from doing it. Like simple as mowing my lawn, the mower won't start. I have a 5-gallon bucket of water for my chickens that I just filled up yesterday. I went out this morning and the cups were empty. There is no way that 4 chickens drank 5 gallons of water overnight.
I don't know. They might have been pretty thirsty.
2 snakes in the matter of the last week, huge snakes in their nesting box. I mean, I can go on and on and on. It's just like, I just like want to throw my hands up, crawl in bed, put the covers over my head and say, okay, I give up. Like, it's hard.
Yeah. And that's a day in, day out process. And it's real easy to get sidetracked and derailed because of the circumstances that are going on right now. And you have to see it for what it is and know that you're just going to have to continue to press on and not allow those emotions, because that's what it is. These difficulties are being thrown in your face, trying to set you back, trying to take you off that higher plane of frequency, and basically start to get you doubting and pushing the other direction and throwing your hands up and just, trying to screw it, give up. And usually when people actually do finally get to the point where they do actually give up, it's usually right before they get their breakthrough, because they just didn't take that next step or that last step or that one or two steps to get around the corner, because they couldn't see around the corner and they lost hope. And that's why it's so important to not lose hope, because that's whenever you just give up. And a lot of times that's whenever you're getting beat up the most, is right before your major breakthrough is about to happen, or major change is about to happen, because it's trying to get you to give up on it right before it knows. The spiritual side, this is a spiritual battle. It's not a physical one. It's a physical one because of the spiritual. Everything happens in the spirit first, and then it happens in the physical. And so if you stay focused in the physical, then you're never going to understand it, because everything's being waged in the spiritual, and you're just reaping the repercussions of it after the fact. And that's why we're to battle in the spirit and in those spiritual high places, so that in that we can see those victories in the natural, see those in the physical. But if we don't battle and wage battle in the spirit, then all we do is reap the consequences of that in the physical, and it's just never ending, and it just never seems to end. And so I just want to encourage everybody that we are so close to so many victories right now. And because of that, it's like things are getting just more and more difficult. It's like you've given birth. I haven't, but you've given birth, right, Kelly?
Yes, twice.
Okay. When is it the worst?
Right before.
Right before the end, right?
Yes.
That last several hours, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that last couple hours, whatever. And, it's difficult all the way up to there, but it's like, I have seen so many women, and bless their heart, they say, I'm going to do this all natural, and I want to have a natural birth, no medication, no epidural, none of that. I want to do it all natural. And then they get there and they go through it all. And I mean, a couple hours into that severe ass whipping they're taking, they're like, I don't give a shit what you got. Give it to me. Give me all of it. Give me doubles and triples. You know what I'm
I
saying?
didn't sign up for all this pain.
Exactly. And they didn't realize, but that's their courage was, that's what they wanted. But man, when that ass whipping came, they were like, I throw in the white flag, right? And so that's kind of the circumstances that we're in, not just as a people, but as a planet and as a nation, as a world, really, because this is so much bigger than just what people can see. And that's kind of what we're going to get into here in a few minutes. But this world is birthing its new existence, and we're going along with it.
So, Captain, let's talk also about the physical part of this, because people are asking about that in the chat. And I think that's what's really getting to me is, we've all gone through the mental part of it. And, I've got things I do to get through that stuff you have taught me. But then when the physical, this is the first time I'd say, except for maybe a couple times I've been physically like attacked getting sick. But this is now for weeks now. I've felt like so worn down and body aches, no fever, and headaches and weakness and fatigue. And I think when you get both of those attacks on you, or whatever it is, maybe you can talk about why this is happening. It's hard when it's both your mind and your body.
Yes. And that's a part of the process of ascension. Our bodies could nowhere come close to handling all of a sudden going into a higher dimension frequency and that state of being all at one time. We just could not actually, our bodies couldn't deal with it. Our minds couldn't deal with it. Nothing could prepare us for a sudden jump from as low of a density that we were to where we're going to. And so each one of these upgrades, so to speak, that we're going through is causing our bodies to go through these changes. And in doing so, it's really taking a toll physically and mentally on the body for making these changes that are actually happening. Because your DNA at the molecular level is actually changing its sequencing. Everything from your brain to your heart, everything is changing right now. And it is taking a severely, your body's taking an ass whipping, put it that way. And so that's how you're feeling. Like when you wake up, you feel like you aren't rested. You're feeling like you're still beat up. You feel like you're going through, like when your body starts getting sickly and you're trying to fight off a cold, it's like all of your defense mechanisms in your body are going overtime trying to fight it off. Those are the kind of situations that your body is in right now and has been as we've been going through these changes. And leading up to the August, there was a lot of changes coming into the August month, a lot of light codes, a lot of energy, and a lot of frequency changes that are coming in over the last 3 weeks to 4 weeks, leading up to the Lionsgate portal and so on and so forth. And it matters. It really does truly matter. And most people, they don't understand why they're feeling the way that they're feeling. At least you're getting somewhat of an idea of the changes that are happening inside of you. And it's okay. Just know that it's going to get to a point where your body catches up to the changes that are actually happening and it lightens up. But everything has been accelerated. So over the years, we've been getting these little baby upgrades, and you get a little ringing in the ear, you feel a little bit, and a little change here and there. But it's actually really starting to accelerate right now a lot. And so it's very noticeable. It's some people can actually, feel the changes that are happening even to a greater degree, not just the symptoms of it, but they're actually in tune with the actual changes that are coming in and happening. And it is very powerful right now. And so you're going through a major change in your body. So it's very difficult. So that's where you have to stay grounded on knowing every day that I'm going to get up, I'm going to do my best, I'm going to give it my best in the circumstances that I have for today. Number 4, I'm going to do my best, but your best is what you have to give that day for however you're going to feel. But know that it's a choice each and every day on what you do, how you do it, and the attitude that you have to go through it, and not to allow that negativity to come in, because it is a breeding ground for just continuously spiraling down into a depressional state, because that's where it could lead you to right now if you allow that to creep in. So be very cautious of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are in the comments that are having the same kind of thing happening. So they're kind of relieved to hear this, because, it is confusing when you don't know what's going on.
Yes. And just know that it's God that's in control. Your body is going through upgrades. It's going through a major ass whipping right now, just plain and simple, on its increases in frequency, and it can't handle it all at one time. And so you're being pushed all the way up to the edges of what you can take. And then as much as you can take, and then take and take, and then it backs off a little bit, and you feel maybe a little better one day, and then a little bit more, and it's like continuously, because you're having to be pushed really a lot right now because of where we're headed into, and we're having to be able to, when some shit hits the fan very soon and difficulties happen, at that point, it's going to be lighter in the energy at that point because of what's going on. And what needs to happen is we're going to have to hold and anchor the energy for the other people because they're floundering a lot. They're going to be floundering really bad. So it's really us upgrading right now so that we can help anchor the energies whenever the chaos kind of comes in, so that the people that are asleep, our families of people are of influence over, and everybody else, when they start to go through this process, we're going to have to be the ones that actually help to anchor the energies in our field. And the only way we can do that is what we're going through right now. And
So, Captain, that's a good point because somebody asked, but why is it affecting some of us so much worse than others?
and
Is it?
that's
Yeah, go
that's
ahead.
important because it's actually pushing you to the stage of wherever you need to get to for whatever you're going to actually go through specifically. So that's why I let off with saying, whatever you feel like, don't feel like that you're not doing enough or that you're failing or whatever, or it's affecting me more and it's more difficult for me. No, it is the goal that you have specifically for you, because this is all individual but collectively, and each one of us are having to go through our own set of circumstances, our own set of events, our own set of trials and tribulations to anchor us in the places that we need to get to for what we're going to actually be going through, specifically in our reality, our small circle during these
Yeah,
events.
I've thought about that, like during all these trials and tribulations that have been happening to me. And that, like every time something happens, I start thinking, like, God, what are you preparing me for? What do you want to see? Can I still plow through? Like what's ahead that you want to see that no matter what, I'm going to plow through. And I do. No matter what, I plow through. I mean, I get discouraged. I'm human, but I keep doing it until it's done. And
Yes,
I don't know. Is that the point? Is that
it
like
is.
the
It
test?
is. And it's like, but not only that, but you're actually being prepared for specifically those things in which you're going to have influence in or over that's coming. And you've got to be prepared for it specifically. And I don't know what that is for you. I don't know what that is for someone else, but each one of us have something or some things that we are all going to need participation in and be prepared for in our own ways. So every circumstance is basically individualized to each and every one of us. So that being able to look at it as, okay, I'm going through this because of whatever I'm going to be going through down the road, or whatever's going to be, happening in 6 months or whatever. And this is preparing me. And thank God that I'm going through this preparation to help me for whatever's coming, God. Just show me those things in which I need to learn so that I can get everything I can out of this before it comes to a point that I need to be prepared. And so that's that kind of being grateful and being in the right frame of mind, going through the difficulties, counting it all joy no matter what, and having that good sense of positive outlook no matter what seems to be, shining down on you, because it's not a punishment, it's a preparation. There is a big difference. You're being prepared for what God has specifically for you, and not you're being punished, because there is no damn punishment. You're not being punished for nothing. It's not how it works. You are being prepared, though. And the greater the preparation means the greater the difficulties you have to go through for that preparation. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying in this, because it's very important. And it also helps you have the right frame of mind in that preparation, that it's not that you're being punished. You're not being disciplined. So don't go, well, I didn't do this and I might have should have done that better. And this might be why I'm going. No, bullshit. It ain't that at all. It's because you're being prepared for something specific. And the greater the thing you're being prepared for, the greater the difficulties of the walk that you're having to walk through. Count it all joy. Specifically, count it all joy. And it will change your outlook on everything, and it will shorten the time in which you have to learn that lesson that you're having to go through it as well. It's very important.
Thank you for talking about that. I think, based on the comments, that was really a needed discussion.
I totally get it, and I hope people know that it is important and that it is something that is not negative. It is a positive, and to look at it that way specifically, and you will get out of it exactly what you are supposed to. Instead of woe is me and why am I having to, no, none of that shit. It's thank God I'm going through this because it's preparing me for whatever's to come. And this is the way I'm being prepared. You asked to be prepared. You wanted to be prepared. And so you're having to go through the things that are going to prepare you specifically for those things in which are to come. And the greater the thing in which you're going to need, the greater the difficulties of the preparation that you're having to go through. Period. No other explanation. Zero. So if you're going through super difficult times, it is a purpose, and it is for something that is of that level and magnitude that you're having to go through it on the other side. So that is a great thing to understand and to look at it in that positive frame of mind, and it will change not only the length of it, of how you have to deal with it, but it changes your attitude and the learnings that are within it. It's very important. A lot of it has to do with intent and what your heart is and where your heart is and how to get your heart to change for the benefit of the greater good. And that's for everybody. And so there's a lot coming, and there's a lot of stuff that's happening right now. And so with that, there's a lot of information that is starting to come within the UFO community, the UAP community, the government, and so on and so forth. And there's two sides of this. I want you guys to know there is a disclosure side of this, intentional, And there's also a deep state side of this that is going to try to use that disclosure and bringing out a false flag to try to regain control, as well as to basically take back over, which is not going to happen, but does not mean that they're not going to still try their best to milk the situation and turn people into fear-based crazy people and just use that to their advantage because that's how they operate. And so you got I'm going to put out, I don't know if it's on the channel or not right now, but there's a video by John Ramirez. He's a ex-CIA operative that's talking about basically operating with the non-human biologics as well as the hybridized humans. And whether people realize it or not, I mean, he's inside the know and he has the information. He's read into these programs, and these are above top secret. These are like need to know, period. Some of the highest security clearances that there are in these programs. And the hybrid race that we are, because we are a hybridized race, we are actually turning into right now, going into our change and our transformation into 5D will be the sixth hybridization or hybrid race. And down the road, there will be a seventh that I'm aware of, that we're going to participate in our genealogy into expanding who we are. And so you can look up John Ramirez. If not, I'm going to post it on the channel. Like I said, he's 25 years CIA. He talks about this in detail and has the information, as well as that the government is fully aware of 2027. So when I told you guys a year and a half ago that between end of 26 to the first part of 27, there was going to be complete open disclosure, meaning contact. They know it's going to happen. They have known this for 10 years that this was coming. And the timing of that was to happen in 27. They kept trying to push it further and further back, meaning the Galactic Federation of Worlds, but I'll get into that. And there had to be some cleaning house because there was individuals that were within the Federation that basically were doing things that were not above board, and they basically were milking it, and they were taking control over our disclosure, our advancement. This is our right. This is our planet. This is our disclosure. It's not theirs, and they got no authority whatsoever on telling us or trying to control us, period, in how we as a human race expose ourselves to that we're not alone. And we never have been alone. This has been one of the most guarded secrets in the governments and the secret societies all around the world, period. And this is coming unraveled because they know there's nothing they can do to stop what's coming. And this is why right now they know, but in 27, there is no ifs, ands, or buts. It's happening. It's happening. And from that point on, our reality will never be the same. Everything that people thought they knew of our history and everything else will be completely changed. There's nothing you can do to change that. So what I would suggest, don't believe a thing that I say. I do care that you listen or don't listen, but all I want is that if it resonates with you, fine. If it doesn't, throw it away. If you're not sure about it, look up these things to the people that I'm going to tell you about and let your own heart lead you. If it leads you to the truth, whatever you find as being your truth, then that's what I suggest. But don't take my truth and make it your truth. You can resonate with it, you can agree with it, or you can disagree with it. Either way, and I'm okay with that. I just want for you to always revert back to your own connection to your spirit and your heart and what's true to you, because that's all that matters. That is all that matters. And in doing so, these are the kind of questions that when you begin to have a relationship with your higher spirit, with your Father, these are questions that you can have and be answered and not be concerned whether or not you will be ignored, because you won't. But you have to develop that relationship first. That always comes first. And that's what's most important, is to have that relationship. And so,
Captain,
yes.
Sly posted that earlier on. I just reposted it. If you take a look at the wall, it's a broken up 2 hour, looks like interview.
Oh,
It's
okay.
right. It says ex-CIA officer confirms alien hybrids exist. John Ramirez debriefed episode 42.
Right on. Okay, good deal. I didn't know it was there because I haven't been on the channel. But yeah, that is something that I wanted people to look at. And also the interview that Michael Salas did with George Cavazos. And whether people realize it or not, George was a part of the secret space program for a long time. And he is very much in the very small circle of the know. And in doing so, there are other individuals that have been, that talk about the same thing, talk about the situation that was with the Galactic Federation being infiltrated and that needed to have their house cleaned, and they did, which Elena talks about, Donahan, and she talks about that. I think that's how you say her last name. She talks about the same thing. And, you know, the government right now is on a fast track on exposing the public to the realities of we're not alone. And it's just like the other day with Paulina Luna. when she was on
Joe Rogan's, right?
Joe Rogan. Yes. And confirming 100% that they have proof, they know, and eventually so will you, because that's how it works. As soon as Congress actually finds out that these things are true and they get read into these programs, blah, 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 then that's when everybody starts to find out, because they're not the people that can keep secrets. They never have been. So that's why these secret programs never read in Congress, ever. They didn't have any oversight from Congress whatsoever, because Congress could not keep secrets, period. That was just the way it was. And so they're letting this out right now because they know that in 27, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, we're going to have open contact. But before that open contact comes in 27, you're already going to have all of the information that you could ever imagine. You're going to be prepared. And so people are not going to freak out and just lose their shit because, oh my God, aliens are here. But they are going to try to use like the 3-Eye Atlas and stuff like that as a means to basically try to set up a false alien invasion type situation that the deep state tries to use. But so about 3-Eye Atlas. So in the pictures and the things that they see about it, it looks like a rock. But it is not a rock. It's actually a ship that's using holographic technology that is portraying that as being an actual rock. Anything that they look at it with is being scanned. The technology that is aboard the ship is not even fathomable by our consciousness the way it is right now. And so it is an actual living consciousness that the ship is, that is a part of the Solar Warden program that's coming back from the 90s. The 3 admirals that took off and went on a humanitarian mission into the galaxies. They did not go to war. They weren't going out there to fight anybody. They sent out, and their intent when they left, to go and meet the benevolence and the benevolent races. And in doing so, from that intention that they had leaving and going, that's what they met. That's who they encountered. And they are beyond our comprehension of how far they have come in their spirituality, as well as their consciousness, as well as the technologies that they use within their consciousness, that these other super benevolent races actually help them develop and to institute into their ships. So their technology is so more advanced than even like the Palladian or the Arcturians or any of those, because it's coming from a creator's existence consciousness of the unified field, which is the very highest of consciousness. So it's hard to put it into words. It's hard to describe it. So that's why I'm saying trust yourself, or trust how you receive it in your heart, or don't receive it. It's okay. But time will tell, and I'm okay with that. But the thing is that they came back, and when they're coming back, they're actually the one that cleaned the house of the Galactic Federation, because they were individuals that were in there that were compromised. And the only way that they could be found to be compromised is to be able to be seen from this level of creator consciousness, that they could actually see that they were corrupt. And in doing so, they cleaned house. There was a regime change. And if you realize that it seems like over the last 4 or 5 years that everything kind of started going backwards in disclosure, and kind of things were just being delayed because this is what they were doing. They were jerking our fucking chain is what they were doing. Not anymore. They're taking control, meaning our own people are taking control over our disclosure and how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and on our terms. And they're not the ones that are in control anymore, but we are. And for you guys to understand just how important you are as a creator being, and to remember who you really are, because this is very important. This is where we are headed. And you need to really begin to remember who you are. And this comes with that alone time, that one-on-one time that you have with your spirit, and that time getting out of the noise and into the peace that only between you and the spirit can be. And to begin to remember who you are. Because you are one of the most powerful beings that are in creation. Yeah, we may be the new kids on the block, and we may be the kids, but just because we're kids does not mean that you're not very powerful and a creator being. A lot of these other beings that are out there are not creator beings. They're intelligent, they're old, and their intelligence has given them the ability to have great technologies, but they are not creator beings as you are.
You know, Captain, and maybe that's how we have to look at this transition. You know, like we're going into, let's put it in simple terms. We're going into like a superhuman image,
Yep,
going from what we were, which was suppressed, and breaking into that, what God always intended us to be, and growing into it where it doesn't quite fit yet,
it
right?
doesn't, because where you've been taught is that you were broken and just a broken vessel that needed a savior, and that you could do absolutely nothing without it, period. And as long as you were kept in that kind of mindset, you could never, ever, ever live up to that creator mindset of a child of God, ever. Just imagine if Jesus had that same mentality. But he didn't. And he tried to show us the way. He's tried to give us the cheat code, so to speak, of what is our expectation of who we are, and that we are the sons and daughters. and that same spirit that dwelt in him is also in you. But the enemy never wanted you to know that. They never wanted you to be able to do anything. Even in the prayers that we were taught growing up, God, if it was your will, then bless them or heal them if it's your will. And fuck that. That was a means of being able to keep us in bondage and hopeless. Oh, please help us. Help us. You need to remember that Christ said that the kingdom of God is all around you and is inside of you right this minute, and that same spirit that dwelleth in him is also in you, and that you will do greater works than he ever did, because he understood the evolution of the spirit of where he was, what he was doing, and what we were going to be, and our expectation of us going into our higher dimensional selves as crystalline beings, and that same kind of manifestational power. That's why it's so important for us to get rid of all the baggage, and we can't take it with us, because in 5D, in that frequency space, that manifestation happens very easily. And it's like, if you have all this baggage and you have these fears and traumas and stuff, those traumas and fears, you will manifest them in 5D, in the physical, that everyone else will have to be dealing with. So that shit can't come with you. It can't. It's got to be done away with and left behind. Plain and simple.
So,
And so there's a bunch that we're having to go through.
While we're on this subject, I was just scanning through the questions, and someone asked, Trump Patriot asked, Captain Kyle and Kelly, how do you explain what the Galactic Federation or Palladians are? Can you explain it in deeper detail if possible?
So the Galactic Federation of Worlds are just that. They're a federation that is a military body of beings of different races, of Andromedans and Palladians and different races that are collectively like a good, or supposedly good, United Nations, where it's a group of body of the entirety of collective that is supposed to be out there for the greater good of the worlds, which them being of higher consciousness and in a higher frequency of their reality, then yes, they are collectively better in that aspect. But do they have the same mindset that we do? No. Why? Because they have different cultures, they have different ways of doing things. Everything is different within each and every group, and they all have their own slight agenda twist to their reality. Even though it stems from being good, it's still not necessarily great for us, because we're completely different. That's why we have to stand up for ourselves in that same arena and say, no, you're not going to tell us how we're going to do it. We're going to take the initiative and control over our understanding, our ascension, our disclosure, because it's ours. It's not yours, period. And so that's what the Galactic Federation is. It is a military body that is out there basically in the universes that are ultimately there to do the greater good within other civilizations, because there is a lot of them. There's not just like one or two. There are lots of them. There's different variations of humanoids. There's all kinds of races out there, some well behind us. And it is a plethora of creation. And so for science to have been feeding you and everybody else that we were the only thing was the biggest bunch of horse manure in the entire reality of people. And I am so glad that people are finally waking up to the fact that we are not alone. We were never alone. And our great grandparents and past them knew we were not alone. And just over the last several hundred years is the lie that's been spun into existence. And it's basically just a bunch of idiotic crap. But it's going to change everything. And as it does, it's going to prove that where we came from, who we are, and what our roles are in the bigger picture of creation. Because that's what it's about. It's about creation and our role in creation and helping our development into a higher elevation of consciousness and being, and then going out and helping other races and creating even more creation. So when Christ said that we're going to rule and reign as kings and queens along with him for all eternity, that's exactly what he meant. Not as rulers over them, but as facilitators of raising like families. These would be our new family that we helped start, help grow, help manifest, help bring into reality. Because that's furthering creation for the creator, God, the one, overall experience of everything, the all. And God is experiencing all of that, all of us simultaneously at the same time for his glory, his experience, along with our experience.
Okay, and there's somebody asked, do these galactics know Christ?
Yeah, they know Christ, but he is not in, Christ is nothing to them other than just a how would I say this? He is to them a let me think about that for a second. Because he doesn't have anything to do with their existence, but he's fundamental in our creation and our existence, not as our Savior, but as our way shower of who we are and what we're capable of, and to begin to remember who we truly are, because coming into this existence was and still is a complete separation from who we were before being born. And so if we were to wake up being born and know or remember who we were and our past lives and our past consciousness and all that, this place would be a breeze. But because it's not, and we have to be taught everything, and the things in which we are taught are all based upon lies of our separation of who we are and being helpless and powerless, basically puts us into the world crippled, not just mentally, but physically as well. And that was the whole purpose behind it. And Christ's message basically was over and over again trying to remind us of what to do, how to do it, and to remember who we truly are is what matters. And he came against the religion, he came against the leaders, he came against everything that was there that was in contrary to the people knowing that they were the children of God, and that they, meaning each and every one of them, were special, and that they needed to wake up and remember who they truly are. But to the other races, basically, Jesus to them is just a well-informed human that was completely in touch with his physical and spiritual side and being in oneness, which is in essence greater than their level of consciousness at whatever degree of density that they were at, whether it be 70 or 80 or whatever. Basically, he was in touch with himself in the physical and spiritual world, in the physical sense, with like a 12D consciousness. Complete and 100% understanding. So to them, that kind of reverence would be shown towards him because of just who he was. But he wasn't significant to their nothing.
So here's another interesting one. Is Commander Thor part of the Galactic Federation?
Yes. Yes. And he was not one that was corrupted. Not from what I understand. It was always.
And here's another really good point. President Trump has always said, think big, think bigger.
Yeah, but what is your perspective of what's big and how much is bigger?
A lot of people can't even imagine what the bigger is.
They can't, because they've got no perspective of it whatsoever. None. So quit trying to figure this all out. Know that God is in control, and to begin to imagine those things in which are beyond what you think are obtainable in any measure, and then believe even bigger than that.
Okay.
So let's do one more question, and then we've been on for a couple hours now. So
We've got a lot of good questions here.
what's that?
I said we've got a lot of good questions here.
Okay, well, let's do two then.
All right. Do you believe that it will take generations to remove the evil that is here, or the evil will be removed in much less time? If 5D will be happening relatively soon, my belief is that evil can exist in that frequency. Please expand on this.
So evil is not necessarily I'm trying to think of a good way to say this, is not what people perceive it to be, but that's okay. But the duality of people, because that's what it is. If you got good, you got to have bad, and that's why we're in duality and blah blah blah, which is the way it is. But those negative impulses and those negative ways of being are being eliminated, and yes, they cannot dwell in the higher frequency realm because they're too low a density of frequency, so that doesn't reside there. And the time period for that to happen is it's already been happening for years and years now. And so the part that we're coming to now is what people are going to visually finally get to be able to see. But it's already been going on for years and years. So, and I mean, going back all the way to 2016 and before. So the timing of all of this is that the cleanup is going on, the justice phase of this is all happening. And in my opinion, it's all it is, my opinion, between now and the next couple of years, that will pretty much be over with. And the preparing us for 5D and that time period is after that is pretty much mostly dealt with, the cleanup and us moving forward in the new technologies and all that, which are already starting to be leaked and coming out, different stuff. And the timing is that there's really a real hard date. I'm not going to say what that date is referenced to, but that date is actually the very end of December 20. I want to say it's December the 29th of the 30th of year 30. So that's less than 5 years from now. It's 4.5 years from now. And I think it's January the 29th. 2030. But it could be 29. Can't remember right now. But there's a hard date. And in that hard date, there are things that are going to happen or have already happened that there is absolutely nothing that anyone can do to delay, change, overcome, or manipulate that hard date. And so just know that everything that we're going through will be between now and 2030. Period. Done. So can that be that we actually, and I'm just going to use this as a for potential, not real, but potentially, could we get further down this path and then happen to ascend in 28? Absolutely. Could that happen in 29? Absolutely. But there is an end date. There's an expiration date that we ain't going out past. So, can you hang on for just a little bit longer till that hard date is here or before it's here? Because there has not been any prophecy or person that has what are they called?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The viewers, remote viewers.
Remote viewers that have ever been able to see out past 2030. It's not happened.
So, Captain, I think it's really important to say that in the meantime, there are going to be a lot of
Changes.
a lot of relief, a lot of changes in the
Yes.
transition.
Yes. Absolutely.
Financially and with your health and technologies.
All of the above.
So,
Everything.
please don't get discouraged that you're going to have to, wait in total chaos, because that is not the case. There will be relief for us during the transition time to
Oh,
prepare.
absolutely. We're talking about that being the end date, the end time, meaning everything's done and we're finished. And that would be the longest of it, the period. Like I said, it could happen in a year. It could happen in 2 years. But during this transition period, it's like, okay, once open contact is complete, do you not think that all of the evil is going to be dealt with before then? Absolutely. Because they're going to have to be out of the way for that to actually happen so that they can't manipulate it anymore, right? Let's just take that for an example. So that's happening in the spring, at the very latest in the spring, April 2027. Okay? And so what do you think is going to happen between now and 27? And I think I might have even said in April. So between now and then, a lot's going to happen for the good, meaning that most of the cleanup, all of the evil, all of the crap is going to be mostly dealt with and it's gone by then. The financial system, oh, it's got to change before then. So, well, that's going to be better. So all of these things are going to be happening relatively quickly over the next year and a half. And so does that mean in 6 months it all can everything could change tomorrow? That's how fast our reality can change for the good. And so even with that, we have the once the open contact fully happens, then that's going to set off a whole new set of exposure of our real true history, our history of our relationship with the universe and everything else, our standing within it, our travel, our fuel, everything, that how we get around, portals. We got bases on Mars. We have a base that's on the backside of the moon. And, the reason the Secret Space Force had been out there doing all the stuff that they were doing, basically Trump and the White Hats had to create the Space Force so that it could begin to explain all of the stuff and the technology that we already have and that we've been using for freaking ever. And they're going to have to begin to explain it. Well, in doing so, they're going to have some really awesome breakthroughs and advancements. And with this advancement, this broke through and we got this. And because of that, it goes, and then it snowballed. And all of a sudden, our whole technology reality is completely different. And that's how quick it's going to change. But they had to have ways of beginning to explain that reality. Because NASA, we couldn't all of a sudden, NASA is all of a sudden this space program that's really a real true space program, has been all over the place, and they've been fighting in the Orion Wars and all kinds of stuff. And then we're talking about these battle fleets of ships and technologies of anti-gravitics and consciousness and do weapons and all this stuff, and they can't do shit. But we were supposed to believe NASA was part of all that. No, they had to create a military branch that's actual Space Force that was elite. They were the guardians. Now they're going to bring forth all of these new technologies, this new way of everything, and it's going to be birthed through Space Force.
And I saw the, what's his name, Duffy, with the transportation, Secretary of Transportation. He just mentioned NASA and having a base on the moon. So what I'm thinking they're going to do is
So NASA was saying that within 2030, they're going to build a nuclear reactor on the moon, and for fueling station and for power on the moon, and they're going to do this in 4 years. And we're not even there yet.
Yeah,
but
so
they're going to build this.
Captain, I think this is for the normies, because
absolutely.
The normies, they believe the whole NASA thing, so they have to kind of conjoin, the Galactic Federation, all that we know, with what the normies know, right? And conjoin it and transition them into what it really is.
Well, yes, of course. But that's where it's like, how they're sitting there saying that they're going to build a reactor by 2030 on the moon, and they're not even there yet. But that's what they're planning on doing, and that's what they're budgeting right now for. So it's like, I mean, this is how it is that everything's going to accelerate so quickly that things are going to happen so fast. It's like people aren't even going to put together the fact that how fast everything's happening, that it's like this had to have already been like this.
Yeah.
We had to have already had some of this stuff.
It's just
And that's
all
how it's
being
going to
let out
be.
now.
They're just going to throw it all in. It's going to be like, okay, this pile, and let's put some of this stuff in there with it. And they're not even going to know the difference. Well, yeah, they're not, because they never
Trump just put out a whole long list of things that he's expecting to happen by the way, July 4th, 26. Oh, that's a
absolutely.
coincidence.
Yes. And so it's like, and then, it's like our, recruiting for Space Force talks about our adversaries having a base on the dark side of the moon. What? That's an actual video we got on our channel right now that is they're recruiting for Space Force. And then we got, them talking about us being able to, another person that's in the government telling us that we can bend space and time and our control of it. We've been having free technology and we can control this and do that. And they're telling us, people. They are telling us, and they have been telling us. And they're going to start pushing it out there in front of everything, and it's going to happen faster and faster. And you're just going to start to have your head's going to swim because your reality is going to change so quickly. Just to let you know, hold on.
Here is the last question. It's about the National Guard. And, I want to be able to clear something up because there were a lot of comments under this National Guard post that I sent into the channel. I think it was, 23rd. So it was earlier today. Up to 1,700 National Guard troops are set to mobilize in 19 states in the coming weeks to assist the Department of Homeland Security with President Trump's nationwide crackdown on illegal immigration, as per Fox, and it lists those states. Now, there were so many comments freaking out that, these are mostly red states, and why is this, and we need it in this, and we need it in that. Well, I believe the majority of the people misunderstood this post from Insider Paper. It's saying that they're set to mobilize in 19 states. Well, that would make sense that he's calling on the red states National Guard to mobilize. That I don't believe that necessarily means that is the states that they are going to mobilize in.
Because they're already federalized, meaning that they're controlled by the government, not by the state. He's telling them which states are about to get activated to be ready to be mobilized to do whatever and wherever you're called upon. That's exactly what that means.
So that was the last question. Captain Kyle, we have been on for an hour plus. We value your time, but want more, if possible, about the National Guard being brought into many more states. Can you explain what this is?
It's going to be in all of them, but they're going to pull them. They're only talking about them pulling right now from these different states is where they're publicly saying that they're going to be mobilizing from, not being that that's where they're going to be active in, but they are going to be activated and positioned in just about all of the states that they need to be. California, New York, Chicago, all over even here in Texas. So they're going to be all over the place, everywhere they need to be. They are going to be active, as well as how he always says that if needed, we can pull in the regular military too.
Yes, he does always say that.
But we haven't needed to do that yet. But that's coming as well. Because we've already been under martial law. We've already been under continuity of government. All of it is lawful, and all of it is being done to cause this to happen systematically. And we're the people, the regular people that are not on this call, that do not know what's going on, do not lose it. And I mean lose it. Not just that they're upset. Boo-hoo. I don't give a shit. I'm upset all the time too. I don't care that you're upset. But we are going to do what needs to be done to not only save our country, but the rest of the world, period. Like it or not, this is what is happening, and there's nothing that anybody can do to stop it. It is happening, period. You can either get on board or get the fuck out of the way. Either way, it's happening.
Captain, I know you said no more. I think this one really needs to be asked.
Nope. Nope.
And squeeze one more out of you.
Nope. I can't do it. La, 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 la. Nope. Okay, whatever.
Okay, Allison asks, thank you guys for all you do. You have helped me understand far more than I ever thought I knew. We all are hurting in this transition. My question is, there are recent accounts that were Q positive, COG positive, awakening positive. These accounts are all doing and saying the same stuff, like Trump and Q was deep state psyop to keep us quiet while they unleashed the military to control us. Do you think someone got to them and or paying them to say these things, or were they always on the dark side and after getting thousands of followers, their job now is to bring us down? I'm so disappointed in a few of them because they appeared to be on our side. Thank you.
You've pretty much answered that yourself in the question. And I would say that use your own discernment on who you follow and what's their message truly about.
Consistency.
And what is it about? Is it about bringing everybody together, or is it sowing fear now, or is it sowing division? What is it truly saying? Because your heart will tell you. If you listen to your heart, that's what I want you guys to do. Stop listening to me in that aspect. I want to just be here to help. I don't want to be to tell you. It encourages me that you even asked the question in a way that you answered it yourself.
Yes.
If you just read the question. So when I train people at work, a lot of times I'll have them say it to me, the question out loud, so that they can hear the question. And a lot of times as they say the question, they can actually answer the question instead of me having to answer it. A lot of times they can answer it themselves. And that's what I prefer, because that's what you're actually learning now. And I want you guys to use your own discernment. All the things that we've been teaching you for all this time. And I don't want you to need this anymore. I don't want you to need to come here. I want you to be to the point where all you need, because this is the absolute truth, all you need is yourself and God. Those two things, you've got the answer to everything. Now, if you want to come here for conversation or for BSing or just whatever, but not needing to know the truth or what's going on, because You don't need me for any of that. None of y'all do. It's all inside each and every one of you. And all I'm trying to do is wake you up enough that you believe in yourself. That's been my heart from the very beginning, is to wake you up enough to know who you are and to walk away.
So well said, Captain.
I love you guys, and we'll talk to y'all soon, okay?
Love you all.
Good night.
Good night.